All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome back. This is our third broadcast today. Late Night Crypto Talk. Bitcoin Brandon here from Los Angeles, on fire, California. Hope you guys had a great Monday, the beginning of your week. Start of a new week. Today was Veterans Day, so we give respect and thanks to those that have served. Go ahead and type in the chat box where you're listening in from. I see Mafoose from Laurel, Maryland. Tony Kingston. Elijah Morgan. The Voice. Sean Robinson. Stephanie Gibbs. Sean Robinson. Sean, you know, I didn't even know if I told you this, but my mom's maiden name is also Robinson. My grandpa, Jesse Lee Robinson, also served in the military. Lashana Robinson, another Robinson. Darnell Abram from the OKC. Lorna Vasquez, Hanford, California. Good day, or good evening, everybody. As a disclaimer, I'm not a licensed financial advisor to be giving financial advice. I read the news, give my opinion, share suggestions, and it is up to you to make an informed, intelligent decision on where you want to be. There's 4 rules I live by in the crypto space to have success. Rule number 1, education is key. Education is everything. Rule number 2, never invest money you cannot afford to lose. Rule number 3, where do you see yourself in, always get your return on investment back as fast as possible. And rule number 4, where do you see yourself in 3 months, 6 months, a year from now? What are you willing to do to make it happen? Make a decision, take action, and stay focused. Do not get distracted. There's so many things out there that can distract you in this place. You have limited resources. Now, following this is not going to guarantee you success, but it will at least minimize your risk. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the most that we can ask for. All right, let's go ahead and kick things off, get things started. Get the screen share turned on. Got 3 articles we'll talk about tonight, maybe 4, depending on But I've been talking a lot today. People say all the time, Brandon, why are you always talking this crypto stuff every day? Why are you doing it? For me, that's a silly question because if I didn't do it, you know what my alternative is? On a Monday morning, like most people, they wake up on an early morning, Monday morning, drive off into rush hour traffic, go into a job they don't like, to work with people they can't stand, to eat lunch at 12 when they're hungry at 11, to go to the bathroom and ask for permission as if they are a child. To do this for 40 years of their life if they're lucky enough to have the same job, knowing, or even worse, not knowing that you're going to retire broke depending on family, government, and friends by the age of 65. And now you're 65 years old trying to figure out what you're going to do. With no more 401k, savings, retirement. Social Security is a joke. Your house is a liability and not an asset. You have nothing to pass down to the rest of your children. Why am I doing what I'm doing? For legacy. For my family, my children, and future grandchildren and beyond. Because we are living at a time in history that is unprecedented. Humanity has never been afforded this opportunity as we are right now. And I am a professional. I am not here to play around. I am here to change my family tree. And if that means I got to be talking and reading about crypto 4 or 5 hours a day, then that's exactly what I'm going to do, because everybody else has no problem working 40 to 60 hours a week on a job that somebody else owns just to make enough money to pay your bills. The real question is, why aren't you doing it? Don't worry about what I'm doing. But let's go ahead and get some of our crypto education going here. We're going to talk about Roger Ver. Those of you who went through the KGX, it's one of the videos in Bitcoin 101. It talks about who is Satoshi Nakamoto. And there's been many different people that have either claimed or people have claimed to be Satoshi Nakamoto. And one of these individuals is a guy named Craig Wright. Craig Wright is from what I've seen, is a genius. However, he's also a little bit crazy. Roger Ver is a gentleman that's been here since the beginning as well. And they have been fighting over what's Bitcoin, what's the real Bitcoin, the cause of Bitcoin splitting up and you having Bitcoin Cash. And we're now coming up on another hard fork for Bitcoin Cash to be split up into 2 more coins. Interestingly, though, knowing that this hard fork is coming up, I would have thought that Bitcoin Cash would be skyrocketing right now, and it's doing the opposite. It's on a downward spiral to the 15th. I would have thought that it would have the opposite. See, if we go back to Bitcoin and we look at when Bitcoin first split into Bitcoin Cash, what was that? September 2017? August 2017? I don't remember the exact month. I think it might have been September. But let's go back and take a look. All right, 2017. June 2017, July, January. So somewhere around here. See this spike right here? What's that date? August 27th. It got up to 4,000 or something, and then it dropped. This was around the time of the fork, Bitcoin into Bitcoin Cash. So you saw from July 15th all the way up until that fork, a run up in Bitcoin. It went from $2,170 up to $4,490 in a month. When the fork happened, then you had a correction. This is when Bitcoin Cash was born. Let's look at Bitcoin Cash. Now, what happened was when a fork happens, no matter how many Bitcoin you had, you're given an equal amount of Bitcoin Cash. So everybody wanted to have free Bitcoin Cash based on how many Bitcoin you had. And why is that? Because Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash share the same history up until this point. And then they go on two different directions. So let's look at Bitcoin Cash. What happened when it first forked, came into existence. Right now, the price is $506. Go back to August. Yeah. July, end of July, going to August. It came on $452 a coin. $509 July 24th. But it hadn't forked yet. It was created. And right now it's $506. So, but at its height, so now you had an equal amount of Bitcoin Cash that you had Bitcoin. And let's just say you sat and held on to it. You got free money. At the end of December, Bitcoin Cash got all the way to $4,000 a coin. Then let's say you decide to sell then. You had free money and you sold it at $4,000 per coin. People made a killing off of that. Because this is when Bitcoin or crypto market cap got to almost $1 trillion, over $900 billion. If you look at every single coin that's more than a year old, you're going to see the same trend, no matter the coin, a spike. That's why I know when I see this number, and we got to look at this number again. Look, we lost $2 billion since this morning from the market. We're going to look at that in a second. So when this number goes up sky high again, all the coins are going to rise again. There's going to be another spike. So let me go back, look at the market itself. What's going on here? Lost a little less than 2 billion. Bitcoin still 52% dominance. Still flatline a bit, but it's a little negative. Stellar is now -5. Bitcoin Cash -4. Let's see, what's Tether doing? Is in a little negative. So I see a flat market here. Look at this. NEM's up 15% out of nowhere after losing $2 billion in the market. So NEM is the best performer. Chainlink, Ethera, Decentraland, MOAC, that's the most major coin. Any other major coin? Zcash, 1%. Electronium's back in the green again, 1.5 cents. Ripple is up 1%. Okay, so let's talk about Roger Ver. What's going on here? Roger Ver, maybe I've been fooled by Craig Wright, you think? Early cryptocurrency adopter and outspoken Bitcoin Cash evangelist Roger Ver said that he is having second thoughts about his former alliance with self-described Bitcoin creator Craig Wright. Why would you still be running around? Yeah, I'm Satoshi Nakamoto. Ver, the owner of crypto wallet service and Bitcoin Cash mining pool Bitcoin.com, stated in a newly uploaded YouTube video that Wright, whose firm InChain is a developer of BCH software implementation Bitcoin SV, had fooled him. So we've got Bitcoin ABC and Bitcoin SV. This is the two coins. It's about that's what they're going to be called. It's never easy to admit that you've been fooled, but maybe I've been fooled, Ver said while sharing a screenshot of an email that Wright had allegedly sent him after he publicly backed BCH development group Bitcoin ABC and not Wright's SV. In the debate over the impending BCH hard fork, Wright allegedly wrote, this is Craig Wright now, side with ABC. You hate Bitcoin. You are my enemy. You have effing no idea what that means. You will. I am Satoshi. That one sentence right there
Makes us want to, we got to check this, pull that dude aside, check him out. Have a nice life. You will now discover me when pissed off. And no, you could have had proof. Your choice. F you. If he was really Satoshi Nakamoto, all he has to do is move 1 Bitcoin from the wallet we all know is Satoshi Nakamoto that has over 1 million Bitcoin in it. Just move 1 Bitcoin if you're really Satoshi Nakamoto. Bear and Wright had already been feuding for several months in the lead up to the hard fork. So it was no surprise when Bear publicly backed Bitcoin ABC's vision for Bitcoin Cash. You know what I do attribute Craig Wright to? I do attribute him to the development and programming of BitConnect. Ooh, that's a whole other thing. The idea behind BitConnect was genius. It really was. It was executed poorly. But Craig Wright's company, we did some digging, did some research, and found that it was his company that was behind the programming and implementation of the bot and the algorithms that made the whole thing possible. Anyways, Bear and Wright had been feuding for several months in the lead up to the hard fork, so it was no surprise when Bear publicly backed Bitcoin ABC's vision for Bitcoin Cash, or when the characteristically bombastic Wright lashed out by accusing Bear of wanting to promote child pornography. What? Craig Wright says, I'm sorry, Dr. Craig Wright says, if Roger Ver and ABC devs want to make permissionless kiddie porn sites in Silk Road version 2.0, then they can piss off to Dash. Just that word there, piss off. You know, Craig Wright's got a lot of British background to him. They are not adding this to BCH. This is the only real use case they have, and it is not happening. So now, dude, you're now calling them child pornographers? What is that, pedophiles? However, their claim that his spat with Wright is about more than personal insults and political differences. He said that over time, he had become skeptical about Wright's technical acumen. See, in nerd talk, that's fighting words. That's like those of you who've seen the movie The Sandlot, when the kids were fighting, and the ultimate thing was, you play baseball like a girl. Oh, that's one of my all-time favorite movies. Like, you're killing me, Smalls. This is that type of that. I'm challenging your technical acumen. Basically, I'm saying you're stupid. Some things Craig says I think are really spot on, but other things, he has no clue what he's talking about, There said, adding later that Wright had refused to engage in a technical debate at a recent BCH mining conference. See, these are the things that I look for at these conventions and blockchain expos and stuff. When the panelists get up and then they start arguing with each other and they get heated, it's funny to watch. Especially that one, I watched a video of the Ethereum founder, Vitalik Buterin, and he's in the audience and Craig Wright's on stage, and Vitalik like jumps up and starts screaming and yelling at Craig Wright as if he was gonna jump on stage and go Tupac on somebody. That was hilarious. I like that. I like the drama of that. But when you see these at the expos, one guy calling another guy out, even at the Crypto Invest Summit, I was sitting there with Diana, and I forgot what they were talking about, but two guys were kind of arguing, and one guy said something that was like fighting words. He was like, I don't think that that's a question that anybody understands, and I don't even think you understand this question. And the dude, everybody was like, ooh, he went there, ooh. And I just find it funny, nerds about to throw down on each other on a convention. Anyways, as a side note, so Craig Wright was ducking him at a convention. I would love nothing more than to somebody debate me at one of these conventions. Mark my words, I will be on panels and stuff like this in the future. I can't wait till somebody challenge me on something. All right. He said, it seems strange to have Craig refuse to engage in any sort of technical debate there, and my suspicion at this point is that he can't. And I've seen a bunch of things happen that make me skeptical, very, very deeply skeptical. It's like a battle, two rappers going at each other, and one rapper's calling the other out, and the other one refuses to rap, refuses to do a freestyle on the Sway Show. Joe Budden. That's a significant departure from comments about rights that Ver has made in the past. While he had shied away from outright stating that he believes Wright is Satoshi, he had praised his vision for cryptocurrency as consistent with the one laid out in the Bitcoin white paper. Now that's interesting. Roger Ver, won't deny that Craig Wright is Satoshi, while he had shied away from outright stating that or admitting to it. Call the dude out. Be like, prove to me you're Satoshi Nakamoto. What do you got to do? What are you afraid of, Roger Ver? Let him prove it. Call him out. Satoshi or not, the things Craig Wright is saying are exactly the things that caused me to sign up for Bitcoin in the first place, Ver told Motherboard last year. They are also the things that led to its success. Now, though Ver said that even incontrovertible proof that Wright is Satoshi would do nothing to change his opinion of him or his vision for BCH, paraphrasing Ethereum co-founder Vitalik Buterin, just talking about him, Ver said that if Wright did turn out to be Satoshi, it would lower his opinion of Satoshi, not elevate his opinion of Wright. And I 100% agree. I hope that we never find out who Satoshi Nakamoto really is. Because if that day comes, it'll become more about that person or group than it is about the project of cryptocurrency itself. We're humans. People are like that. You know, like I can say one thing to my family, but then somebody else that they don't even know that they respect can say the same thing, and all of a sudden they're like, Did you hear what so and so said? I'm like, I said the same thing. Yeah, but so and so said it. Does it matter who said it? Yes. At the end of the day, yes, it does matter who says things. We're willing to give one side a pass where we won't give someone else a pass based on who says it. I remember it was a Republican debate, and this was when George Bush was running for office. I forgot who his opponent was, but they played one guy. He was smart. He read a quote, right, and said, "Can you tell me who said this?" And the quote was a liberal type quote. And he asked him, "Do you agree with this quote?" And George Bush was like, "Absolutely not." He said, "Ronald Reagan said it." Well, what? Yeah, Ronald Reagan said it. Oh, well, then, then I understand what he's saying. What he meant to say, no, this is exactly what he said. It matters who says it. So I hope we never know who Satoshi is. And God, I hope it ain't Craig Wright. The guy's kind of crazy. He's smart, but he's crazy. And it will set the movement back 5 years at least, if it's about him. All right, next article up. Let's see. What's I going to talk about next? No, saving that one for tomorrow. Nah, saving that one for last. Yeah, this one here. Blockchain tech is taking on renewable energy trading in Singapore. So those of you that is down with green, you're about to hear third-party use case for how electricity is changing around the world. Blockchain tech is taking on renewable energy trading in Singapore. Companies in Singapore can now engage in renewable energy certificates, trading on a blockchain-powered system from utilities provider SP Group. What is Green doing? Green is creating a power blockchain. The Green project will ultimately end up powering the Bitcoin blockchain, solving the energy crisis. The idea behind the asset is that firms seeking to offset their non-energy green production can purchase RECs from a company producing excess green power. Think of this like carbon offsets. In California, that was a craze, right? Where if you are a gas guzzling, jet flying person all over the place, you can go ahead and purchase carbon offsets by like, I'm going to put money into building, creating a forest, plant some trees. And by me donating money for that, it's going to offset the emissions that my SUV and my plane is spending and my house electricity. So it's like I'm giving back to planet Earth based on what I'm taking from planet Earth. It's an okie doke type of idea, but it was big. So they're looking at the same thing here. Purchasing RECs from a company producing excess green power. The use of a blockchain is more than a gimmick, SP Group says, because it will all allow for better transparency and lower costs in power trading. Another industry that is being disrupted because of the blockchain, the power industry. Blockchain, the technology underpinning cryptocurrency Bitcoin, has been recommended and theorized for uses across a broad spectrum of sectors and countries. Now, one Southeast Asian city-state is putting the tech to work in reshaping its energy industry. In Singapore, companies can buy and sell so-called renewable energy certificates, RECs, that represent a unit of green energy production from the likes of wind and solar panel or power. The idea is that firms seeking to offset their non-green energy production can purchase RECs from a company producing excess green power. Wow, GreenX is taking this to a whole nother level. This is outdated system they're doing here. It's a system similar to carbon trading that takes place in many localities. And as of last week, companies can now engage in their REC trading on a blockchain-powered system. That's more than just a gimmick, according to utilities provider SP Group, which launched the new platform. It will allow for better transparency and lower costs in power trading because it reduces the need, catch this, for a centralized entity to verify transactions. Wow. You guys just get that? Wow. That's more than just a gimmick. You see that? So this whole green X thing ain't a gimmick. The idea that they want to create a blockchain power blockchain, which is called POP, proof of power, is not a gimmick. It's the future. You guys that got to have a GreenX machine, you should have got an email today. In fact, Oh, yeah, I can read it on my other computer. Let me pull something up because I found this fascinating, especially when I play with numbers. You know, I can't sleep when I look at what's taking place. It's like mining for Bitcoin in the early days, and you know exactly what Bitcoin is going to be in 5 to 10 years, and nobody else does. So let me read this. Let's see here. Mainnet testing is underway after a small delay and only slightly increasing the load on a possibly overworked development team. We are pleased to say out loud, mainnet testing is underway. This is a huge deal. It's the last step before the release of green. The future is now. We are almost there. It's so close and tangible that the team doesn't even really mind spending way too many hours at the office. To be clear, here is what is in motion. Live test distributions on mainnet, wallet security and network security testing, bug stomping in anticipation of imminent launch. New software back office integration for ease of navigation is exciting to be here now. And though we've had to be more patient than we care to be, green is in motion. It's gaining traction, momentum, and interest. Remember, you are a first participant. Don't forget to consider that. What does it mean that you are participating ahead of more than 99% of the world in this breakthrough technology? An early adapter, rewarded first and longest. That's a big move backed by bold thinking. In fact, it's so bold that doing some basic math and modeling, even if only mentally, should make you excited. You may have missed the early days of Bitcoin and the outcome it has had so far, but you are here for the minting of green. For that, we thank you. Do you understand the importance of that? Especially that one line that said, if you just do some basic math and modeling, it should make you excited. What have I been doing all week? I've been doing basic math and modeling, not based on me making numbers up, but looking at what other coins have done in the past that don't have nearly the worldwide impact that what green is doing when it comes to electricity. That even if 90% is wrong, you still make a killing. All right, let me get back to the article. It's a system similar to carbon trading that takes place in many locales. Yeah. That's more than a gimmick. It will allow for better transparency and lower costs in power trading because it reduces the need for a centralized entity to verify transactions, which means we don't need the power company to verify transactions. You don't need it anymore. I've got, in California, we've got Pacific Gas and Electric, and Southern California Edison. Now, they're still going to be there. Just their role's going to change a bit. It could eventually even facilitate, look at this, cross-border energy credit trading. That's what green is doing. Green is going to we're not technically putting electricity in the blockchain. We're putting the value of electricity and trading it on the blockchain. You understand the difference? A consumer in Singapore who wishes to buy green energy can now, through blockchain-powered REC trading, purchase a REC from a hydro producer based in Laos. SP Group CEO Wong Kim Yin told CNBC at the Singapore International Energy Week conference last week. This reduces the cost, reduces the friction in the market. High costs in verifying certificates, as well as the difficulties in tracking RECs, have led to relatively low trading volumes in Singapore. And even so, a majority of the transactions occur directly between one originator and buyer, not on a marketplace. Adding blockchain to the equation may change that. The distributed ledger system effectively eliminates the need for verification processes at a centralized entity, reducing costs and allowing small energy consumers and producers to participate. This is what they're doing here is describing exactly how green is going to work. You guys understand that? This is exactly how green is going to work. So I don't care about the technical details. I don't need to know how a plane flies. I just know it works. But those of you who's like, I don't get it. How does it work? This is how it's doing it right now. Wong spoke of a future in which energy trading is more decentralized, driven by technology, and where consumers are empowered to make sustainable energy choices. Amen. Cash my check now. We're about to be multimillionaires because of Green X. This isn't a Green X spokesman saying it. This isn't me from KGX saying it. This is Wong, who is CEO of the SP Group in Singapore. Documentation beats conversation. And some of you still don't have a Green X rig. In the past, you have big power stations. All right, he's still breaking it down. In the past, you have big power stations in the centralized model. And you would transmit power to the households. In the future, you would have solar panels and you would have batteries. Whoa, what? What is the green box? It's a battery. See, right now, all you know about is the Green X mining rigs that's mining the coin. But the product is the green box. We call it solar in the box. It's a battery. What does this do? Work for KG or green? You're going to have solar panels and you're going to have batteries. In that model, the power system would be a lot more robust, Wong said. Green energy options are limited with land constraints in the city-state, meaning large-scale construction of wind farms isn't an option. Solar panels, which are installed on surfaces, are also a function of land area as well as residential and commercial buildup, but not the batteries. The green batteries, you can plug them into your home. You don't need to install solar panels or have land set aside for this. You see how green has already solved this problem? Innovations like floating solar energy panels on reservoirs, which are currently being tested in Singapore, could help alleviate the spatial constraints of land, but the potential extent of such technology remains a question. That's why we have green. As a result, experts expect that demand will continue to outstrip supply in Singapore in the near future. Stop right there. How do we know that the green coin is going to rise in value? It's a simple supply and demand thing. He just said right here, demand is going to continue to outstrip supply, which means our coins are going to continue to go up. Lars Kivale, managing director at APX, which is an issuer of REX globally, told CNBC that there is significant demand for renewable energy in Singapore, but a limited amount of renewable energy capacity to meet all of the demand. And let's just let Greens, crip walk into the room at that moment. What? Did I hear you have a problem and I have the solution? Let me give you this power box where you don't need land. We already got a power blockchain. We solved your biggest problem, and now we can meet your demand. And do you think it's only going to be in Singapore? Singapore does it first. Hong Kong's going to be next. Thailand, the Philippines, South Korea, China, and it's going to spread like wildfire around the world. This is where you got to have vision. I'm gonna have to do another Facebook Live, a special one called Vision. Vision for the next 100 years. Blockchain could unlock some of that potential through matching cross-border demand and supply. What? The blockchain could do that? The true promise of blockchain and distributed ledger technology in the context of environmental commodity platforms is allowing these platforms to establish trusted relationships with upstream information sources without having to revalidate it, Cavalli added. SP Group owns and operates electricity and gas transmission and distribution businesses in Singapore and Australia, as well as district cooling businesses in Singapore and China. Man. This is the future. And what did the green email say? Those of you right now, you're participating ahead of more than 99% of the world in this breakthrough technology. This is the type of stuff that changes family trees. You ever hear about millionaires and billionaires that got their one big break that started everything? This is one of those moments. Somebody that got rich because they happened to be a secretary at Microsoft before Microsoft went public. Happened to be a janitor at Apple before Apple went public. I'm just saying. Sometimes right place and right time can be everything. I am going to save that article. And the last one I want to go over tonight. This is from CNBC. Now, this doesn't have to do with crypto because I haven't read it yet. It's not in the title. But then again, it does. I kind of talked about this. I've been talking about this recently. And I've been saying that it's not enough that people are being made aware of crypto. People need to be shown why they should care about crypto, because it is going to impact everybody, directly and indirectly. If you want, even those, because I have a lot of people still to this day that don't believe in Bitcoin. They think it's hype. They think it's a scam. They still believe Warren Buffett's against it, not realizing he's investing hundreds of millions of dollars. They still, I had some guy throw up to me. Jamie Dimon said that it's a scam. Really? You have no idea what Jamie Dimon is doing right now in his companies. He is all over it. But they don't know. I call them ignorant. That doesn't mean they're stupid. They're just ignorant of the facts. They're ill-informed. And to those people, I say this: you better learn this technology, because if you want to get a job in the future, it's all going to be about blockchain. Every single industry is being disrupted. So let's see what CNBC has to say. Let's see if it can verify what I've been saying. And yes, I appreciate that. If you guys like the content that I'm giving, when you come on these lives on YouTube, hit the thumbs up button. We need to spread the word. The future of work won't be about college degrees. It will be about job skills. Those of you that was at the Philly boot camp, Mafoose, I know you was there, Sean Robinson. What did I say? The future is now not about, you just got a college degree. It's about what skills you have. Learn a trade. Truck drivers are making 6 figures a year. Electricians are in demand. Everybody's going to college, getting a degree, some fancy degree that they can't even use when they graduate. And now they graduated with a useless degree and in debt. Learn a trade, learn a skill. And this crypto, the reason why I am so hard on it is because I'm learning a new skill set. I'm working on a PhD in cryptology, cryptocurrency. I don't need to go to college for them to give me a degree stating, oh, you're now an expert in crypto. My experience is telling me I'm an expert. I've made enough money. And that's just the beginning. So, what does CNBC have to say? According to the survey, Freelancing in America 2018 released Wednesday, 93% of freelancers with a 4-year college degree say skills training was useful versus only 97% or 79% who say their college education was useful to the work they do now. I went to school and I have a degree in political science. There's 2 things I can do with that. 1, I can become a lawyer, or 3 things I can do with that. I can become a lawyer, run for political office, or I can become a teacher, an educator. None of which I'm doing. I am doing the education part, but not, in the traditional sense. And I was loaded with debt after I graduated. Now, how many people graduate and actually doing what they went to school for outside of doctors and lawyers? It takes time to get your footing. 65% of children entering primary school will end up in jobs that don't yet exist. Whoa. What? Hey, Philly, what did I say there? We are now preparing our children for a world that will no longer exist by the time they graduate from college. Didn't I say that? Now, what is CNBC saying? Would they have a microphone in the room? 65% of children entering primary school, that's more than half, will end up in jobs that don't exist yet. And guess what those jobs are going to be in? Blockchain technology, crypto. This is a crypto world. The biggest companies that we're ever going to see have not been invented yet. You don't need to listen to your broke cousin Pookie when you got CNBC saying the same thing I've been saying. The result is a proliferation of new, non-traditional education options. Okay, you got me sitting up at the edge of my seat on this one. How about KGX? That's a non-traditional education option. 20 million students started college this fall. And this much is certain. The vast majority of them will be taking on debt. A lot of debt. That is a certainty. What's less certain is whether their degrees will pay off. It is not less certain. We already know the answer to that. No. According to the survey Freelance 2018, released Wednesday, put more value in skills training. 93% of freelancers with a 4-year college degree training is useful versus only 79% who say their college education was useful to the work they do now. In addition, 70% of full-time freelancers participated in skills training in the past 6 months, compared to only 49% of full-time non-freelancers. The 5th annual survey, conducted by research firm Edelman Intelligence and co-commissioned by Upwork and Freelancers Union, polls 6,001 U.S. workers. This new data points to something much larger. Rapid technological change. Stop right there. Rapid technological change. What is that code word for? FinTech, AI, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things. Combined with rising educational costs, have made our traditional higher education system an increasingly anachronistic and anachronistic, I said it right, and risky path. The cost of a college education is so high now that we have reached a tipping point at which the debt incurred often isn't outweighed by future earnings potential. I'm telling you right now, if my son didn't have a full ride, I wouldn't be paying for college. I'd put him in something he's going to learn a skill set in, a trade in. And if I did something like that, my family would scream bloody murder, because in my household, in my family, college is not a option. It is mandatory in my family. But I also realize it is more detrimental than positive. My family's all for it because we've been denied education for so long, and it's a big deal when somebody in our family is able to go to college. You know, our grandparents are like, we worked our butts off to raise enough money to send you to college so you wouldn't have to work and slave like we did. Well, guess what? It doesn't matter anymore. That paper in your hand isn't going to, your quality of life isn't going to be that much higher than those that don't go, unless you are learning a specific skill set. And I have a college education, and I'm saying this. I put my son through school not because he's going to get the best job out there when he graduates, but because of principle. You're going to get that college degree. You're going to learn how to think. That's the best thing college is going to do for you. It's going to challenge you and teach you how to think rather than you're learning any specific trade. All right. Yet too often, degrees are still thought of as a lifelong stamps of professional competency. They tend to create a false sense of security, perpetuating the illusion that work and the knowledge it requires is static, and it's not. I had that wake-up call when I got laid off from my job. And I had to come home and look myself in the mirror. And then I'm like, what did I do wrong? I went to college. I got a freaking degree. I'm now trying to work a job. The job wasn't paying me enough anyway, and now I get laid off? What step did I miss here? It was due to no fault of my own. Made me challenge everything. That old way, go to school, get good grades, and get a good, safe, secure job, a job that will take care of your life, is a fantasy. That hasn't been correct for over 40 years, yet people are still holding on to that. Too often, degrees are still thought of as lifelong stamps of professional competency. For example, a 2016 World Economic Forum report found that in many industries and countries, the most in-demand occupations or specialties did not exist 10 or even 5 years ago. And the pace of change is set to accelerate. In other words, it's saying technology is doubling itself every 4 to 5 years. It takes 4 years to get a college degree. So by the time you enter as a freshman and you graduate, whatever you entered as is irrelevant now. And recent data from Upwork confirms that acceleration. Its latest Upwork Quarterly Skills Index, released in July, found that 70% of the fastest growing skills are new. They're new to the index. Expect the change to keep coming, the WEF cites. One estimate finding that 65% of children entering primary school will end up in jobs that don't exist yet. These trends aren't just academic to me. It's influenced the advice I give my children. While my father had one job throughout his life, I've had several. My father worked for the same company for 43 years before he retired. He started off at 18 years old as a summer intern, washing cars, washing the company cars, because the company had a hiring policy against minorities. Those people that still think, oh, it's an equal playing field. Yeah, okay. Your father was able to get the job. My father had to wash the cars of the company. And he eventually, after he graduated, was finally hired by the company as a token because the laws in California were changing. Oh, yeah. We brought on some minorities here. They didn't know how hungry my father was. And he ended up becoming the CEO of the freaking company. But that also challenged and created a divide between him and myself. Because for him, that American dream was true. Go to college, get good grades, and get a good, safe, secure job. He retired, and he's ranked, I think, number 7 in the state of California for top pensioners. Over $300,000 a freaking year for the rest of his life. Now there's 30-something million people in California. He's number 7. Do you think that's the vast majority of people? So when I came home talking about I don't want to go to law school and I want to be an entrepreneur and I want to do this and that, he's looking at me like I lost my mind. And I'm trying to tell him, Dad, that old way of doing things isn't working. It worked for you, but look at all the employees that you had at your company. How many of them are going to become the CEO like you did? How many minorities have been hired after you? And how many of them are going to get your job? You are an anomaly that does not reflect reality. I've had several jobs. I've been laid off twice. In fact, you want to know the first time I got laid off? I was a senior in college. 4 months before I graduated, I got hired by Kraft down in Augusta, Georgia. Once I graduated, I was going to move to Augusta and start a new job there. 2 months before I graduated, the person that hired me let me know that their entire division and branch got laid off. So I got laid off before my job even started. I was like, whoa, welcome to America. I got that wake-up call. And I think my starting salary was going to be like $37,000 a year. Now, coming 1998, fresh out of college, and you're making $38,000 a year, and that's your starting, that was not bad. Going to be able to grow from there. Anyways, I went off a tangent. So here's this one. While my father had one job throughout his life, I've had several. And I tell my children, not only can they expect to have many jobs throughout their working lives, but multiple jobs at the same time. I don't know about you, but multiple jobs is meant for multiple people. I can't stand working one job. You mean to tell me I got to work 2 or 3? It is therefore imperative that we encourage more options to thrive without our current over-reliance on college degrees as proof of ability. We need new routes to success and hope. Yeah, we got one called crypto. New non-traditional education options. Okay, what are they advising here? The future of work won't be about degrees. More and more, it'll be about skills. I agree. And no one school, whether it be Harvard, General Assembly, or Udacity, can ever insulate us from the unpredictability of technological progression and, oh, look at that word, disruption. I think this dude's talking in code right now. What is cryptocurrency? It's disruption. What is blockchain technology? It's disruption. As a leader of a technology company and former head of engineering, I've hired many programmers during my career. And what matters to me is not whether someone has a computer science degree, but how well they can think and how well they can code. Whoa, what did I just say this morning? When you go out there and you're filling out a job application, what's going to be on that application besides, do you know Excel? How fast can you type words per minute? Do you know spreadsheet? What did I say? You can go back and listen to it. It's going to say, do you know coding? Do you know blockchain? I said, look what he just said. How well can they code? In fact, among the top 20 fastest growing skills in Upwork's latest skills index, none require a degree. Freelancers and fastest growing segment of the workforce realize more than most that education doesn't stop. Whoa! Did you catch that? What is my rule number one in crypto? Education is key. Education is everything. What is this guy saying? They realize education doesn't stop. It's a lifelong process. And they are nearly twice as likely to reskill, meaning you might graduate from college with one skill set, but you're going to ultimately learn multiple skill sets over the course of your career. Troy Dooley said this about me the other day. One thing about Brandon, he has seemed to always reinvent himself over the years. You know, I said this when I did my talk about the future of network marketing and MLM and crypto. What makes us dangerous is that not only do I know network marketing like the back of my hand, starting from the time where I made no money to where I've made seven figures, to the fact I've been on corporate. I know the inside and outside of network marketing, but I also know crypto now too. And that's a dangerous combination. I got both. These gurus that come into the space, all they got is network marketing. They know nothing about crypto. One guru who I looked up to on a freaking live with thousands of people listening said, yeah, I learned that you buy high and sell low. And I wanted to slap myself when I saw him say that. Buy high, sell low. This is from an individual who's used to making over $1 million a month. Are you kidding me? You need to learn a new skill set if you want to survive. Google, wait. More and more companies are catching on. Last year, PwC began a pilot program allowing high school graduates to begin working as accountants and risk management consultants. And this August, jobs website Glassdoor listed 15 more companies that no longer require a degree, including tech giants such as Apple, IBM, and Google. Increasingly, Glassdoor reported there are many companies offering well-paying jobs to those with non-traditional education or a high school diploma. Google, for example, used to ask applicants for their college GPAs and transcripts. However, as Laszlo Bock, its head of hiring, has explained, those metrics aren't valuable predictors of an employee's performance. As a result, Bock told the New York Times a few years ago that the portion of non-college educated employees at Google has grown over time. And second, new non-traditional education options are proliferating, KGX, often laser focused on the most in-demand skills would be college students who can now enroll in campus-based project-funded focused institutions like the Hoverton School, where I'm a trustee, or online programs such as e-learning sites. What? In e-learning? KGX? We need to put this on the front page of our website. To be sure, I'm not saying college is a waste of time and money for everyone. But if there's one takeaway, it's this. The future of work won't be about degrees. More and more, it'll be about skills. And no one school, whether it be Harvard, General Assembly, or Udacity, can ever insulate us from the unpredictability of technological progression and disruption. Well, that's a quote. That is a nice quote. I need to save this article. I'm going to quote this and post this later. But one thing, the fastest growing segment of the workforce, the freelancers, have realized more than most that education doesn't stop. That's why I do 2 crypto talks a day. I'm educating myself. It's not that I'm trying to be entertaining for all of you. It forces me to read. Because if I did not have this microphone on right now, I would pull this article up, read 1 or 2 paragraphs, then I get sidetracked on something else. I go play video games or something, or listening to some music. By turning this microphone on and knowing I have an audience listening to me, it's forcing me to go through this. And in other words, it's forcing me to learn. And you cannot unlearn what you've learned. So diploma or not, it's a mindset worth embracing. So one thing I find interesting, not once did he mention crypto or Bitcoin, but he talked about growing technology and disruption. That's exactly what blockchain is. And he's already saying, when I look to hire somebody, I got to know, do they have any skills in the new technology that's being developed? So even if you don't believe in Bitcoin or crypto or any of this mumbo jumbo, and you think it's all a scam, and you still think cash is king, and you want to ignore it all, and you're just happy with your 9-to-5 job, when you get laid off and you start looking for a new job, I didn't say if you get laid off. I said when you get laid off and start looking for a new job, you're going to start seeing on the applications about your skill set when it comes to technology. And it's probably going to have to do with the distributed ledger. And you're going to wish you did get involved. So knowing about this information is not just the ability to thrive in the next 100 years, because all of you guys want to be millionaires, but it is a necessity if you want to just survive. You got to know about this stuff just to survive. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen, for Late Night Crypto Talk. I'm a little tired. I've been talking all day. Getting ready for Chicago. No, I'm not taking tomorrow off. I'll be back tomorrow morning for Crypto Talk because I am going to go over this article here. Cryptocurrency ATM growth spikes exponentially to 4,000 machines worldwide. See, those of you that don't believe nothing's happening, you're going to wake up one day, drive around, you're going to start seeing Bitcoin ATMs all over the place. And guess what? KGX is going to help facilitate that. Oh, you'll be hearing more about it. Finally, this looks like this green is going to be closed and we can move on with our business, Bitcoin ATM machines. So with that, I'll see you all tomorrow morning. God bless. Bitcoin Brandon out. Bye-bye.